Cleveland Browns fans, bring you all the latest in Browns news. Tune in now. Hello, all you youngsters out there. It's a Fanatical Elfz Thursday night show. We have everybody in house. My God, we're a full house here on the Fanatical Elfz Network. Love it. We got Ethan Greenberg, Sam the Man, Britton down there in Dallas, Texas, Steve Gill and Jarrell Flint, who are both in Nashville with a pending snowstorm on the way. Sam is immersed in a quarter-inch of ice in Dallas, Texas, and Ethan and I. Ethan is in Virginia, I believe, and Johnny Cleveland here is in an undisclosed location in Columbus, Ohio. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Hello.
What's up?
Hello.
Well, lots of things to talk about tonight. I know that Ethan had his podcast and Jarrell Flint has his podcast earlier this evening, and they both have been talking their topics. Lots of topics, lots of things to dissect. Offseason is off and running for the Cleveland Brownies, who, like Jarrell said a couple weeks ago, said that the Browns like to play chess while the rest of the league plays football. So with that, just welcome. Let's start with Ethan. Welcome, Ethan. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. As I was saying, there was a lot to talk about. I had a lot to get off my chest, a lot to vent about with the season. I'm glad that it was finally over, and the best gift was waking up Sunday morning to Italy. I know that it's not. Jarrell, you and I differ on who should be fired, but I was at least glad to see Dorsey and Dickerson fired. That was at least something for me. I felt like I got a small bit of flesh there.
Do you guys all, like Ethan? Do you feel like I know there's still football being played, but I get a little depressed after the Browns. I know I'm happy, but I'm so like invested in the Browns, even though they're so dysfunctional. I still have like realizing that this Sunday until next September won't be real football for the Browns. Not that they played any real football this season. I'm a comic. Steve Gill with that stone cold look like, okay, John, shut up. Sam, how are you tonight down in Dallas? Are you staying warm, staying safe?
Fine. Yeah, I'm trying to. I am staying warm. We have these blackout curtains that we use because the sun hits directly through my window in the summer and it just cooks my room. So we bought some nice curtains that really do help. But I've had to use them because the windows, all the cold is seeping through. So my desk is like right next to the window. So that one area is super freezing cold because of the the cold. But it's just icy and gross outside. But Texas has figured out a little bit better to how to respond to snow than they were 4 or 3 years ago when they had that big snowmageddon, as we call it.
Right?
But
didn't the grid stop? Aren't you guys like in your own grid down in Texas because you're like your own?
Thankfully,
country?
we're fine because we're right off of a fire station. Like literally, it's like a 1 or 2 minute walk from here. So we were okay. But yeah, a lot of people lost power. We had a lot of people who were freezing cold. But it's not looking to be like that anymore. Everything is more or less a little bit more figured out now.
Jarrell, sorry, I had a couple things going on there. We'll come back to what Jarrell.
Put your wires crossed there, John.
No, I was looking at my phone. I got distracted because I'll just stop and pause here by congratulating the Cavaliers on a big win. I know we're a Browns podcast, but they beat the Oklahoma Thunder last night, and I just got a score relay. I guess the Cavs are losing tonight. I'm not
only down 103-98.
Okay,
Got
so
the
it's
entire fourth quarter.
Yes, so they had a hell of a game last night. It was just a great effort. If you're a Cavs fan or a Cleveland fan, or if you've paid attention to this Cavs team at all, they really are a dynamic team, and they beat one of the best teams in the league in Oklahoma City last night. So, okay, Jarrell, I apologize. I was not pausing because I was pausing because I'm dysfunctional. I can't, my phone here. Okay.
No worries. Yeah, I'm doing well.
Are you good?
Yeah, just finished the show. I got a question I'm gonna pose to the group. Since 2020 into this year, if you're counting December and January wins, who do you think has been the best coach in December and January in the AFC North since 2020?
Definitely not Tomlin.
Zach Taylor.
Steve, any care to guess?
Probably Harbaugh.
John?
Harbaugh.
Sam?
Probably Harbaugh.
Zach Taylor is the correct answer.
Zach Taylor.
Oh, wow.
Zach Taylor is the correct answer. He is 24. No, hold on. Yep. 24-13. Harbaugh is 19-14. Tomlin is 16-7. And our good old friend, Kevin Stefanski, below 500 as well, 14-17. And not to mention Taylor has a Super Bowl appearance and an AFC Championship title in that 5-year stretch. So, again, if this is an analytically driven team, that's just another stat that you can point to say Stefanski is the third or fourth worst coach in the division. And I'll land my plane there.
Okay. I hear you loud and clear. I lean toward you a little bit more probably than the rest of the group here in what you're trying to say about this whole situation. I personally am not going. I mean, obviously we have a long time between now and September again, and there will be a lot of ups and downs with what we see and the build up to next season. I've said that all along, and I'll continue to say it. It's going to be. I don't believe that Stefanski and Barry can handle the pressure going into next season. I think it's going to be ginormous with everything from free agency to the drafting. And I'm probably going to be proven wrong, and that I would be the happiest dog pound South camper there is, Steve. But I did that in honor of you because you're your dog pound camper.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's right.
But
I just on Mondays for the Cleveland Browns Dog Pound South podcast.
Get your plug in, Steve.
But I just think
right.
I'm not gonna with Stefanski. It's like I think he's a good coach. I just think that the where he's at and what's happened. I'm gonna give him this year. Give him the off season. Let's see what happens. But man, you look at some of the opponents that the team's got to play next season and everything. And I know we can talk about it endlessly, and it doesn't really matter until we actually play the games. So we'll see. Steve, how are you this evening?
Oh, great. Got plenty of firewood on the back deck, just in case. You never know. Luckily, I live in an area that has a large nursing home a couple blocks from here. So when the power goes out, it doesn't take them very long to get this grid back up and running. So that's a good news. But if it goes out, I can load some firewood in the fireplace and I'll be fine. But Nashville will come to a screeching halt tomorrow.
When was the last time you guys had snow?
About a year ago.
Okay, so you've had it recently.
And we got that yearly total Sunday night, Monday morning. 11 inches of snow. It's not going to be that bad. Although Jim Cantori's in town from the Weather Channel, so we're basically screwed.
He is there.
So, just to kind of point out something about performing under pressure. Let's see now. Browns went 1-15, 0-16.
Yes.
8-9-1, and then 6-11.
Yes.
And then they brought in Stefanski and Barry and won 11 games. You don't think they're under any pressure whatsoever? It was a COVID year. Your team couldn't, the players couldn't meet as much. They couldn't meet as much in the offseason.
Right.
Teams who violated that rule, like the Tennessee Titans, got slapped down by the NFL heavily. So you don't think they were under a lot of pressure then?
I think it's different.
I think they were under a ton of pressure. Because we were going through this endless cycle of dysfunction.
Well, okay.
Then all of a sudden they hire Stefanski, they hire Barry, and they go to the playoffs and they win a playoff game.
So, but here's
during
I look
COVID.
at I look okay,
when they had a game when they had no wide receivers.
So
where
you
they
can
had
find
the 2 games, they had to do a walkthrough in a parking garage.
You can find though, like the way I look at Stefanski, and I don't know if I'll just
I'm just saying, ton of pressure on them. Ton of. They're
ton of
walking
pressure,
into
and I think that he handled
those
it.
2 guys walked into a situation
Yeah.
where under Jimmy Haslam, one of them or both of them were going to
Yeah.
get fired after a year because that's what he was doing.
Okay. Well, we'll come back. We'll have plenty of time to talk about Stefanski and Barry endlessly throughout the season, the offseason. It's going to be grand. So they did get rid of Ken Dorsey, like Ethan mentioned. They did get rid of their offensive line coach.
By the way, have any of you watched Hard Knocks, the HBO Hard Knocks on this division?
I have not.
Did anybody notice about 3 or 4 weeks ago that the assistant offensive line coach was doing team meetings and not Andy Dickinson?
The guy that was dropping all the F-bombs?
Yeah. Apparently Andy Dickinson left the team about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Really?
But nobody's reporting it.
Wow.
Because Mike Vrabel, I had read an article, I think it was from Bleacher Report, that Vrabel was helping with the offensive line.
Yes.
Well, that's when he left.
Yeah. I haven't watched the show, but I've seen the clips. I saw Roy Istvan, with the Bleep Show during the meetings. I had read that article as well about Vrabel being pretty much installed about mid-season to help out with the offensive line. And it was actually probably about that point that the offensive line started to look a little bit better. He actually had a positive impact on the
Very interesting.
Dickerson, the writing was on the wall. Dorsey, the writing was on the wall. It's a lot. It's a lot. I like the direction. I know nobody's probably heard of Bloomgren, but at least I look at him. He's got some experience at the pro level under Callahan. He's head coach. He worked in a pro system at Stanford with Shaw. So I like that move. And
but I didn't realize this. They got him. They've been talking about him, but he was fired early this season. He's been sitting on the couch. He got fired at Rice, which I had no idea. Right. Okay, not like I know coaches get fired, for they're college coaches. I get that. It's just I didn't realize that. Why would you fire? I'm sorry. Come on. Like Rice, you're going to fire? Like, okay. But so I don't know. That's fine. It sounds good. I mean, like you said, Callahan has a connection with the guy. And Stefanski.
Yeah, he worked for Callahan with the Jets.
Right. He worked for Callahan.
When they went to the playoffs.
Right. And Schottenheimer while they were there under Rex Ryan.
Yeah. Brian Schottenheimer.
Right.
Okay, who I met once. Very nice guy.
Nice.
Yeah, he came into a liquor store, and at that point, we had just passed the law where you got to card everybody. And the girl I was working with carded him and said, "Wow, that's a hell of a name." And I looked at it and I went, "Oh, you're Marty's son." And he went, "Oh, you're a Browns fan." Now what? Yes, I am.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's
the other guy that they interviewed was Tommy Reese.
And that's for that's for the OC position, and then
for the OC position,
they're going to talk to London. What's the first name of the guy from Seattle? It's London is
Charles London,
and they're also going to be talking to Daryl Bevel.
Which Steve, you like him a lot.
Oh yes, he's well versed in that wide zone offense. Well,
was he ever with the Seahawks?
Yes, I'm pretty certain he was associated.
I'm pretty sure.
Was he the offensive coordinator when they threw it at the 1 yard line? Because I feel like that's where I know that name from.
I'm going to look it up right now while you guys are talking about.
I think he's the OC. I think he was the one that and Marshawn talked about that. He can't get a straight answer as to if it was Pete's call or Bevel's call, but I'd bet money.
Wouldn't that be something?
He was the OC in Seattle from 2011 to 2017.
That's him.
That would have been it. Oh, great. Great. Good.
Yeah,
Good. To know.
that's
Oh,
it.
wonderful.
Now there's a little tidbit that maybe folks didn't know. That's interesting.
So we're going to
But-
base him on one play.
Well, Steve was kind
Didn't
of
he
a big
make the
play.
playoffs? Didn't he make
Well,
the
let me.
playoffs?
Okay, Steve. Let me ask you a question. I just want to ask you a question. If the
Look.
Browns, let's just say that was the Browns in the 14 Super Bowl, and they get to the 1 yard line with Nick Chubb,
I've
you're
seen
telling
this.
me
Ernest
you wouldn't
Biner
run that guy out
fumbled.
of town?
I've
Huh?
seen this. Ernest Biner fumbled.
Oh, well,
I've
that's
been
true.
there. I lived
Okay.
it. I watched it. I threw something
true.
at my TV.
We broke a couch. We had my friend broke the couch when that fumble
Webster
happened. With Ernest Biner.
Slaughter in my brain is still standing there doing nothing.
Well, I think the players were stunned on that
Oh,
play,
on
but
the phone.
that is a really good, interesting twist there because I had no idea that was the guy. That's very
Yes.
well.
He was just standing there doing nothing.
So this guy's
No wonder he went to
level
Houston.
was the offensive coordinator in Seattle when Seattle got to the 1 yard line and decided to throw the ball and get picked off. That interception, it was Russell Wilson, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Big play.
So maybe
Well-
Russell Wilson will be signing with the Browns as their bridge quarterback. Let's start a rumor.
I like that. Now there's more chance that Aaron Rodgers maybe comes, right? Wouldn't that be?
No, there is no chance in hell that Aaron
Didn't he
Rodgers
mention the
is
Browns? That's what Lou was.
Yes, because he's desperately trying to find a job. I also hear that he's really thinking about retiring. His act has gotten very tired, and no NFL team wants to touch him because he thinks he knows more than the GM and the coach. His defining moment for me will come when he skipped the entire preseason this year.
Yes.
And during a game, he tried to throw the ball to Garrett Wilson, and they caught him on the sideline with a microphone. Rodgers telling him, "You should have been here,
yeah.
not there." And Garrett Wilson goes, "You should have showed up for preseason, for training camp." And that was it. They walked away. So, boom, there's your Aaron Rodgers, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, let's pause here on the Fanatical Elfz Show. We'll be right back, part of the Fans First Sports Network. Thank you for tuning back into us. We appreciate you listening to us on Apple, on Spotify, anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find us. We are the Fanatical Elfz, part of Fans First Sports. Some of these guys do a little bit extra writing too. Steve Gell, you write for the Fans First, or catch his articles.
I'll have an article tomorrow on what is the real status of the 2025 Brown salary cap.
Okay.
Because I keep hearing personalities tell me they have no money, which is a load of crap. They will have money.
Yes.
And I explain how they have that money.
So I want to go back to just your thoughts, just go around the room not quickly, but Andrew Berry in his presser earlier this week spoke, and there are a variety of takes on this, but they did talk a little bit about the draft, and I don't want to get into a big thing here on the draft, but the Browns do have the number 2 draft pick, and I know some of us have talked off air, but you're hearing different things from different personalities out there about what the Browns are going to do. Now, the one idea is that the Browns are going to say, or people are going to say, I think, Steve, you touched on this one once with me, that they're going to present the idea that they're going to take a quarterback because they want the teams behind them to, pay a pretty penny to get that number 2 pick. So I guess let's start with you and then go around the room again. Just, do you think the Browns stay at 2, or are you for sure that they're going to trade down?
I'm not
Steve?
sure of anything.
What would you do?
if somebody comes out and tells you they know what the Browns are going to do in the draft, they're lying to you.
Yeah.
Because right now the focus is going to be on, the first thing is going to be on free agency. It always is on free agency with this front office. And even if they do sign 2 veteran quarterbacks, they are still going to be seen at the combine talking to probably the top 5 or 6 quarterbacks, just so they can, kind of mess with people's heads. But I it's way too early to even speculate, even suggest that they know.
Oh, come on. We like to
they
speculate
know what
here.
they're going to do. I know you guys like to speculate. What I would like to find some way to get Abdul Carter.
So, okay.
Kid's a stud.
Yeah, he'll be waiting. He'll be waiting there for us. He's not going anywhere before then.
You don't think so?
I mean, none of these quarterbacks are NFL ready. None of them. Even if the kid from Penn State declares, which would be a mistake on his part. He needs another year of college.
Okay.
You put a little pressure on him and he falls apart. All these quarterbacks, I mean, back at Georgia, he probably the smartest one. Instead of declaring for the, coming out in the draft with a bad arm, he's going in the transfer portal. Smart kid. Go back to college, get another year.
He had said he was going to enter the draft, and just today it came out this afternoon he's going to enter the transfer portal. That is a very wise decision. And you're right, Aller so far, Penn State's winning 10-0, and he's 5 of 13 for 53 yards. What is that? And he missed Singleton.
Really?
Easy touchdown opportunity.
Yeah.
Are you guys watching the game at all?
I'm watching too.
Yeah.
What is the score in the game?
I think what Browns fans like about him is he's a Cleveland Browns fan, and I, so what? Don't care.
Right.
I really don't care. I want the Browns to win, not to draft only Browns fans. So that would be a colossal mistake.
Jarrell, do you think the Browns stay at 2?
I'd like them to. I think you got to get out of this quarterback mindset, and I think you got to go best available. And I think this team is devoid of playmakers. So I would go Travis Hunter at 2, because I think what you've seen with Sam Darnold is that it's kind of the Randy Moss effect. Randy Moss made a lot of quarterbacks. I can name a few: Gus Frerotte, Dante Culpepper. I feel like it was another guy that his name escapes me. But when you got weapons to throw to, sometimes it doesn't really matter who's back there. So I'd like to see Travis Hunter, and I would actually play him at receiver. I wouldn't play him on defense. Because I think you need an Xavier Worthy type of guy, a gadget guy. He can be your Debo guy, where you move him all around the field and you're actually putting pressure on the defense. Because this year, this offense, nobody threatened the defense with their speed, with their playmaking. I mean, Judy kind of came out later, but, he was the only one.
Yeah.
So I think you got to go best available. So I'm kind of like Steve. I don't think any of these QBs are really ready. None of them really playing structure. None of them really playing timing. People were complaining about Watson and DTR that they hold the ball too long. I think you're going to get that with any of these guys that you draft.
Okay.
At 2.
Sam, you agree?
Yes, I agree with Steve. No one except for Barry and the scouting department have any idea what the Browns are doing this draft. Even the scouting department is still watching players. They're still looking through things because they look through hundreds of players to figure out who they want in the first, second, all the way through the 7th round. So even they don't really know what they are looking for in what they want exactly. Now, I think, yes, quarterback is at number 2, I think would be a huge, huge mistake. If they decide to drop 10, 15 picks, drop to like 16 maybe, I don't think they're going to do that. But if they pick up a huge package from a desperate 9-8 team who thinks they can put something together, I don't know, then even still, I think it's going to be best available. I do still think the Browns are going to take a QB in the draft. Win in the draft, hopefully post 3rd round, I feel like would be the best time. But they're going to take a QB simply because sometimes you just got to take a shot on a guy. I mean, Brady was a 5th or a 6th rounder?
6th.
6th. And
6th.
He was the 6th round, and Purdy, of course, is the last.
But it's rare to find quarterbacks outside the 1st or 2nd round. I mean, somebody, I don't know who it was, one of you put something out there. I don't know, was you, Ethan, or Jarrell, talking about that? Like, there's the list of Browns quarterbacks that they've drafted outside of the 1st or 2nd round. I mean, it's ginormous, and none of them were successful. I mean, obviously that makes sense, but anyway.
And
you traded away your last one.
Just for example, Dak Prescott, whatever you care about him, he was the 4th round pick in 2016. Tony Romo was a unrestricted, undrafted free
Yes.
agent. So realistically, it's really hard to hit on quarterbacks because the Browns know this. We draft quarterbacks from 2000 to 2016. Pick one every single year. None of them worked out. So sometimes quarterbacks will be crazy at the 6th round, but then the guy who you pick one, like Joe Burrow is one of the things where the number 1 pick or whatever pick he was at worked out. But right now the Browns are looking at free agents. Yes, that's what they're going to be focusing on is cap and free agents. But draft wise, I think it wouldn't be terribly unwise to drop 4 or 5 spots, round 5 to 7, pick up whoever's available because there are some good. There's a defensive tackle from Michigan right now who's really good high up there. I think it's Mason Graham is his name. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Abdul Carter, obviously. There's going to be that McMillan
Who just
kid
sacked
out
the
of Arizona.
Notre Dame quarterback.
Did he?
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
that
in the red zone
McMillan
with a shoulder
wide receiver.
injury.
Ooh. There's the McMillan kid out of Arizona who I don't think the Browns need. Personally, I think they need to focus defense, offensive line, and defensive line. But
Yes.
I think there's a lot you could do. There's a lot of value right now at number 2. I think I wouldn't be shocked if we rolled around April and both the Titans and Browns moved out of their 2 spots at 1 and 2.
Well, now the Titans just got fired their general manager. Was that expected or unexpected?
I knew somebody
Should've
was
been
going to get
expected.
fired.
Yeah.
He wasn't that good.
Okay.
I had heard from a guy I worked on the radio here with that the owner for the last over a year after a game, win or loss, she'd stay in the luxury area, glad hand with the other luxury suite owners, and then she'd go down to the locker room. After that game on Sunday, she headed straight for her car.
Really?
And that just, I was like, ooh, somebody getting fired. And he was the one.
Wow.
Well, I think the Brown. I mean, the way when you listen to Barry in that press conference on Monday or Tuesday, whenever that was, he certainly sounds like a guy that. I mean, he likes to trade out of it. He's done this before, but
yeah, he couldn't say the phrase trade down.
Right.
Reporter asked him, about the number 2 pick, and he kind of hemmed and hawed and just couldn't say the word trade down. He said, acquiring more assets.
Yes.
We'd love to acquire more assets.
Right.
But he didn't say trade down.
I think that what you're going to see is this. You've got the teams behind us that are going to be looking to move up because they want to get either Shador or Cam Ford. You're looking at the Giants who are at 3. You're probably looking at the Raiders at 6. Now they just fired their coach and today fired the GM.
Okay.
So I don't know what their mindset is going to be.
Giants fans aren't real happy. I don't think with what they kept their coaches, and I was listening to some of the New York
That's what
press.
makes me think they are going to be the more desperate team. Their GM and coach knows if they screw this year up, they're gone.
Right. And Jarrell, you mentioned needing a playmaker, and I agree. If we had somebody that was like versatile, like Deebo Samuel, that would be amazing. They tried to do this kind of crap with Elijah Moore, and clearly that was a bunch of buffoonery. Every single time, that was the dumbest play on the field. They'd bring him on, and you knew where they were going to go, and it was just stupid.
Right.
So I don't know that they can take advantage of that. I want to see them do the routine things well.
Yeah,
that's true.
wow. Well,
I just want to fix the defensive line and offensive line. It all starts there. Samuel's right. It all starts there.
okay. So with that in mind, I mean, the offensive linemen, and we spoke about this a little bit earlier, but they and you even referred to this Dickerson kid being gone 3 or 4 weeks ago, and then you hear the offensive linemen talking about how happy they are that they're going to probably move back to.
Well, they want to go back to the wide zone. They made it clear. Conklin,
yes.
And I don't know why Bitonio's saying that. The way the official website was touting Bitonio, he was ready to retire. I got a feeling he might come back. But
Yes.
they want to run that wide zone with Stefanski's offense. So we'll see.
But why did they ever get away from it? Because they were top 5 in 2020, 21, and 22.
Because
So
they
this is
had a
an
$230 million quarterback. They wanted to give him every opportunity to succeed. But on the other hand, they took out a $44.3 million injury insurance policy for 2025. So they were hedging their bets. But, that's what you do. They made a mistake in doing it. Yes.
I got annoyed.
Were a lot of fans excited when they first said the trade was going to happen? Yes. Did Jimmy Haslam and the front office take a big swing to finally find a franchise quarterback? Yes. So, it didn't work.
I agree with that, but that's why, to me, there's no accountability. Nobody has explained, because it can't just be, we want to appease Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson would have been thrilled with a top 5 running game. Any quarterback in the NFL is going to be thrilled with that. So I can't buy this narrative that we wanted to cater to him because, all right, if you already got a top 5 run game, why would you mess with that? And your pass offense was never higher than 19th. So why not just marry the two?
Start the season with your top 3 tackles injured. That doesn't help at all.
Well, that's true.
And Nick Chubb was just a shadow of himself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting back there with Pierre Strong and Jerome Ford and your run game. And let's face it, Posick, he's gone. I mean, he digressed incredibly over the last couple of years.
Okay, so I have two questions or thoughts here. So, one is, why would you move away from what Stefanski was doing? Well, because my understanding, I heard this on the radio. I think I was listening to the guys on ESPN Cleveland talk, or maybe I read a tweet that essentially Watson said he would like to run more of what he did in Houston, the spread out.
Yeah.
So in order to make that happen, they brought in Dorsey, which was a mistake. And Adidi's talking about basically, and Jason Lloyd, I think, asked during the press conference, you talked to Buffalo. They told you what the problems were with this.
Yeah.
You decided.
That was very interesting.
It was very interesting. So they wanted to go to this system to try to do anything and everything possible to make Watson more successful, like he was in Houston. They've invested all this money in all these draft picks, et cetera. This was the last chance to do it. And then it comes out and he doesn't look good. The offense as a whole stunk, right? But I think that at the end of the day, you looked at it and it was more than just the pieces and parts. I think that maybe because of the time off, I think that Deshaun maybe he just didn't trust what he was seeing. But again, the offensive line, like you guys pointed out, was terrible. So he was like under pressure a lot of the time. But there were other times he was just not making great throws. And at this point, then you then see Jameis come in, and even in this system, which he didn't prefer, he didn't have some really good games and put up numbers. But he did Jameis Winston things. He throws interceptions. So I think at that point you realize, okay, we've got to make a change back. This other system did work, like you pointed to, Jarrell, and we've got to get a competent quarterback there that can work. And so let me ask you this question, and none of us know the true answer to this because we're all speculating. If Jimmy Haslam gave the green light, if he okayed and pushed for the all-in, everything to the middle of the table, we're taking a swing for the fences to get Deshaun Watson. And then it doesn't work out, and it doesn't turn out. But he's the one who's responsible mainly. Why should Barry and Stefanski get canned because of his meddling? That's my only question.
Is that question to me?
It's a question to you or to anybody, who, because I know you would think you want to talk about accountability, but I guess if the boss has set you up to fail,
well, and that's I think I have an answer for you, at least from my perspective. So when I go back to 2021, and the game that always sticks out to me is the Cleveland at Green Bay game. I think it was 22-20 or 22-21.
Christmas Eve.
Nick Chubb
Christmas
is
night.
running up.
It was
Say again?
Christmas.
Yeah,
It was
Christmas
Christmas.
Day.
Nick Chubb is running up and down the field.
Yes.
Okay. Your quarterback doesn't really, his shoulder isn't 100%. And what is Kevin Stefanski dialing up? He's dialing up pass plays. Now, I don't know this for sure, but
Right.
I think he was dialing up those pass plays to send the message that I can't win with this guy. Like, y'all want him to be the guy? I can't win with him. So to me, I agreed with trying to upgrade at quarterback. I agreed with that because I didn't think Baker Mayfield was worth, at the time, 35 million. You know, I thought he would have been more 20, 25, and maybe he wouldn't have took that. My thing was that, well, he was injured in 21, so did you really get a sample size? Maybe talk about give him the opportunity to come back one more time before you go in all in on Deshaun Watson, and then you paid a steep price to get him, but you didn't even get anything back in return for Mayfield. Now I don't know who led the charge on that, but what I'm saying is, if you're Stefanski and you're the one that has to work with the quarterback, I don't think he vetoed that. I don't think he campaigned for Mayfield to stay. So that's my only thing about the accountability piece is that.
I think there was a lot of it in the building as a whole. It sounded like what Barry was saying. They asked him a question about that, and they said basically you're watching Mayfield be successful down there, and essentially, it's got to be the right circumstances, and he's happy for him. But it essentially pointing to there were problems and friction. And I don't know the entirety of it. None of us do.
No.
But at the end of the day, it wasn't working here. And ultimately, it took a couple of stops for Mayfield to turn it around. So I get angry with revisionist historians. Not that they're doing this, but it drives me nuts. I'm like, we have no idea. We could have kept him another year. He might have turned it around. We
just want to see winning football here in Cleveland, and it's been
well, you know, what would we have done with those 3 first-round picks too? Yeah, there's friction, but y'all are professionals. Like, that's what I don't like. Because you shipped OBJ out of town, and you got really nothing for him. Like, so you can't handle friction in your locker room. That's going to happen. And y'all weren't 3 wins that season. You were 8 or 9 wins that season.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think Brady and Belichick had friction. They found a way to work it out. I'm sure there was friction. I'm sure there's friction in Baltimore. This is the NFL. I'm sure everybody has friction, whether it's money or playing time.
Right. They like to be collaborative. They want everybody to be on the same page. And basically, Jimmy Haslam came in as the owner and started firing people every year and had a quick trigger finger. You know, he had an itchy trigger finger. And so now he's like, okay, I can't do that. I'm going to go the complete opposite direction and get everybody to align with one another and be kumbaya instead of, like you said, you know, facing the friction. And it's just a comedy of errors. And I don't know. It's hard to say if any one thing will fix it immediately. And I don't know, like John said, we all just want to win. We just want to be playing now.
Hey, what's going down in Sam? I was going to ask you with McCarthy in Dallas. What's the latest you're hearing down there since you're there in Dallas?
It's just Jerry Jones activities. I mean, we're not really doing a whole lot down here. It's just, oh, hey, look at that. The team managed to not even make the playoffs this year, but we managed to win enough games that.
Is he going to stay?
Maybe not. I don't really know.
Well, they declined the Bears' request.
Oh, that's right. So would
probably yeah.
Okay, man, the Bears are a mess.
Okay,
though.
Getting back to the whole
Steve.
Baker Mayfield thing.
Yes,
Baker Mayfield in interviews on podcasts since then has admitted he knew his arm was bad, and he should have, for the sake of the team, shut it down and got surgery.
Yes.
He regrets the fact of telling the medical staff and the coaches he could play. Yes. He also would constantly run his own plays. They'd call several plays for him. He'd pick something totally different.
So that's where,
now,
Jarrell, Yeah, with the Green
If
Bay
you're an
stuff.
NFL head coach, you don't want that in your quarterback. So to answer every Browns fan about the Browns running Baker Mayfield ran Baker Mayfield out of town. And it took 3 teams for him
he
to
even
finally go
said today or
realize
yesterday.
he's a professional quarterback. Why isn't everybody giving the Carolina Panthers hell? Because they had Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield in the same
They had the
quarterback
same.
group.
Sure,
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's
no,
a good
they
point.
did.
So, Steve, you're saying that the Stefanski's calling a zone wide
He's
zone for
and Baker's gone. No, I'm not going to run that. I'm going to run what I think is going to work. Jameis Winston did the exact same thing, and you notice Jameis Winston went right to number 3 emergency quarterback.
Right. In the Philadelphia game, it was the 4th down play where he audibled and did that Cedric Tillman play.
Tillman end around. That's not what was called.
He was the 3rd quarterback the next week when Watson got injured, and then DTR was the backup. That is exactly right.
So does Stefanski not like audibles? Like you can't like.
No,
is that
he
what
likes
I'm
his quarterbacks to run the plays they work on during the week, not what they think is best.
Even if they're behind the snap and they're in the game and they see, well, we might be running into the teeth of the defense. Let's go with this because this might catch them out of position. Like that, I guess that's where I'm confused because I thought audibles were a normal part of quarterback
they
play.
give them several plays. And they allow them to audible. Well, when you give him 3 plays and he picks play number 5, which wasn't even sent in, then you run into problems. I mean, this isn't Tim Couch at Kentucky where his offensive coordinator was drawing up plays in the dirt on the sideline. I mean, this is
so he's not even running the kill play like where they do this. He's not even doing that where it's like
he's doing whatever he wants to.
Okay,
and you could tell that the last time Jameis started when they put a camera on Dorsey, and Dorsey said, "What the hell is he doing?"
Yeah,
he throws into triple coverage in the end zone for the interception.
I can't remember
the last game he played.
Yes,
it was the Chiefs game.
Chiefs game.
Okay.
You remember?
Okay.
You know who else ran themselves out of town? I mean, kind of, sort of, because of calling their own plays. But did it successfully. Bernie Kosar to Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Belichick.
Yeah, that last play to
stadium.
Michael Jackson
threw a touchdown. My dad said he was at the game, and that. But again, that was one of those things where
they're getting blown out.
Yeah, the quarterback going against the coach, and the coach saying, we're not going to have that."
And he was let go the following day.
Diminishing.
And then he went to Dallas and won a Super Bowl.
Yep. It's stuck with fans, especially a lot of us that were Bernie fans. It's kind of started everything with Bill Belichick. Well, let's finish
Bill
things
Belichick's downfall.
Final thoughts, takes this week. I know there's been a lot of activity. Anything you want to share out or information we haven't talked about tonight? Sam, would you like to talk first? I know you're going to be doing some draft analysis coming up, and we got the free agency. When does free agency open, by the way? Is it
March 10th?
March 10th. Okay, March 10th. So about 2 months from now.
That's when the league year opens. I'm not sure about the legal tampering.
Right.
Which
now the
happens
combine
a couple
will
days
be
before, and the illegal tampering, the nudge, nudge, wink, wink portion of the program that happens at the combine.
Sam, where do you want? What do you think's gonna? I didn't get a chance to listen to your show this last week, or we're gonna post that out here shortly. But where do you think the Browns go this week? What are you looking at?
Offensive coordinator right now. Looking at what happens there, because offensive coordinator I feel like people underestimate how important a good coordinator is for a team. Having a good, smart defensive coordinator and a good, smart offensive coordinator is important to the functioning of your team. But I feel like that's going to be a big spot to watch. The draft is too far away, really, to do much other than scout.
But we like making mock drafts and guessing.
Yeah, all I'm going to do really is just scouting and just looking at players and their performance. But right now, it's just going to be see how the offensive coordinator goes and watch the coaching staff, because I still think there's going to be another few moves in certain smaller places.
Some people are surprised that what's his face is still special teams coach.
Ventrone.
Yeah.
Well,
But
he might
just
go with Vrabel.
coaches and stuff.
Vrabel.
That saves them
Where's
time.
Vrabel going to go?
Probably New England.
Okay.
I mean, why would he go to, the Bears are intriguing. I mean, for new coaches, for new coaching positions, these guys want to go where they've got a quarterback. I mean, you don't go to the Giants. You don't go to Vegas. You don't go to the Jets because they don't have quarterbacks right now. Vrabel's too smart for that. So he'll probably pick the Bears or New England. A lot of pressure to go to New England. So, following in the footsteps, his name's in the Ring of Honor already.
New England's an interesting football program. I mean, I don't know about you. What I recall about New England, before Bill Belichick and Tom Brady got there, they were a nothing team, and they're kind of a nothing team right now. So I don't know if there's an enormous amount. I don't look at New England in my mind, but I'm not a New England Patriots fan, so I don't see that as a. I think like the Jets.
Well, there was speculation they got rid of Mayo after 1 year because they knew Vrabel would be available.
Yes, and that's what I thought.
That's how Robert Kraft thinks.
Yes, and I know that really.
By the way, Cavs win 132 to 126.
Congratulations to the Cavs. Win 34? No, 35?
33-4 now.
33-4, man. Do you think that they can reach that Golden State team?
I don't care as long as they win the title.
Yeah. No, yeah. Well, the Cavs go down to Oklahoma City next Thursday. So when we have a Fanatical show next week, they'll actually be playing hoops down in Oklahoma City. That should be a great game. Boy, that Oklahoma Thunder team, I'll just say that, and I don't follow them very, very much, but that's a really good team. They are a very young.
They're a great defensive team. They play exceptional perimeter defense.
Oh, they do. They were making it difficult last night.
They only allowing 103 points a game. So
yeah. No, it was a great game. Great game last night. And the Cavs win again tonight against the Toronto Raptors. So I find it funny the only thing I find funny with Oklahoma City, and this is if you're a longtime Cavs fan, you know that the Oklahoma City Thunder center, Hartenstein. I'm sorry. A good kid, but he played for the Cavs back in the day, and I know a lot of people talked about his improved offense, but he doesn't scare me. Remembering how he's played in the past. So I knew that. I just felt throughout that game last night, like Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, and I think that will continue. I think that's one of the real, that's their weakness. I think then that's where where the Cavs have their strength with those two. So,
yeah, real quick.
Yes.
They're gonna keep this OC search really short and tight. And don't be surprised if a few defensive coaches might get canned. They're still having meetings with the defensive side of the field. So right now everybody's still safe, but it could change in a heartbeat. And number 3, I think Ohio State can beat Texas. Tomorrow night. I think it's going to be a little closer than everybody anticipates. But something I did not know, Texas hasn't scored a touchdown in the third quarter in 6 games and haven't scored a touchdown in the second half since they played Texas Tech. Wow. They are a first half jump on you team, like Ohio State has been with Tennessee and Oregon. So they're excellent secondary, great defensive line. Linebackers aren't much to talk about. But yeah, they got 2 running backs that run extremely well, and a left tackle who is going to be playing on Sunday. So but I still think Ohio State can beat them.
Okay, Jarrell. I love the by the way, Jarrell's wearing a really cool sweatshirt. Part of his
he is
dog food.
Oh, thank you.
Show that sweatshirt.
Dog food. store. You can find that at dawgfoodstore.com. Exclusive. Yeah, appreciate that plug. Yeah, for me, going into the off season, I don't trust Andrew Berry. I don't trust the front office. I don't think it matters what coordinators they hire. Me personally, I thought the defense played well because most of the time this season, 20 points for the opposing team was enough to win. So if you're holding people to 20 points, I think you're doing your job, straight up and down.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's time to start thinking about the possibility that this team's window to compete seriously for championships, it closed. I think it's time to really consider that. You know, I think that when Kevin Stefanski and them took the reins, this team was ready to win. I actually talked about this on my show earlier. When the Browns played the Chiefs, they held the Chiefs to 22 points, and they only scored 17. The Chiefs went on to win the Super Bowl. When the Bengals played them the next season in the playoffs, the Chiefs only scored 24, and the Bengals scored 27. So, you know, make of that what you will, but I just think that there was, in the crucial moments, they made just about every wrong decision that you could possibly think of. And that's why we're sitting here at 3-13 and talking about the offseason. So, I hope that that's not the case, but I think it's time to start considering it.
All right, Ethan, last word.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me on. Appreciate it. Really enjoy being part of Fanatical Elfz and Fan First Sports Network. Certainly, it sucks to be going into another off season and saying, all right, you know, there's always next year. But I guess that's all we've got. And the Browns, as I said on my show this evening, need to be sending thank you notes to the Cavs and the Guardians for buttressing the season, the beginning and the end of the season.
Yes.
To take your attention off of the crappy play.
Yes.
There are a lot of moves to be made here. And I like you, Jarrell, I do not trust the front office to make the correct ones. I fear that no matter what they do, it's going to be wrong. But that's just the pessimist in me. I've been scarred by the Browns, you know, for all of my fandom. And I'm just hoping I'm wrong one time. So, you know, there's that.
There's a chance. There's a chance you're wrong.
There it is. There it is.
One last thing. Mayor Bibb had till today to answer
I thought
the Haslam Group.
I thought the Haslam had today to answer him.
They did, and he had to today to answer back, and they're going to court, and he's running up the Modell rule.
Yeah,
just saw it on.
I saw the letter that was released by the Browns this afternoon to the city, basically saying we'll see you in court is basically what they said.
Well, they're going to court.
Yeah, it's just like, oh God.
So here come the parachuting lawyers.
I know, it's just it's going to be an interesting time. There's so many things that we're going to talk about. Listen to these guys, all of them. Jarrell will be dropping his dog food radio programming here in a little bit. Ethan with his going nuclear. Finish the title for me.
Full-blown coverage of the land.
Sam will be having his.
You should write that down, John. And
I know, damn it! It's the one. I don't know what it is, man.
Don't you in school?
You know what? Yes. No, stop. It's 33 years in, man. I've been doing this for a while. So, you know, Sam, Brown's breakdowns will be coming on shortly. Steve Gill with his Dog Pound South campers. Welcome, Dog Pound South campers.
Cleveland Browns Dog Pound South podcast.
Campers. There you go. Lou Marconi and I do Stirring the Pot. I do the Johnny Cleveland show myself. We don't forget about gosh darn it,
Sherry and Breezy.
Yes, Sherry, of course, Sherry. If you're watching, Breezy Brown's talk, Brown's Blitz with Rod Bloom. We got a lot of great programming here, a lot of great guys, great people, great gals, bringing you all sorts of great things. And we look forward to bringing you even more, more information. I know it's hard to stay positive as Brown seasons, as this, season has unfolded, especially this year. But we have a great group of guys that have a great variety of takes. And we really appreciate you tuning in. Again, spread the love. Tell everybody about the Fanatical Elfz Network on Apple, Spotify. Watch us on the X. Watch us on Facebook. And we'll see you again next week on Thursday. Everybody have a great week. Go Brownies. Thanks, gentlemen, for being here. And stay warm. Stay out of that snow and ice.
Go Browns!